I'm going to try in 5 minutes to demonstrate how I set up my first topics page for the summer reading unit for my English 9 course. Whenever I'm creating a topic, obviously the first thing we're doing, summer reading, in this case it's Born a Crime. I'm making sure I have my resources available from the unit plan or the book, or in many cases, it's going to be a chapter for some folks. But I make sure I have all of those resources available because it's going to make this entire thing easier. So in this case, since I have this box here, which is for the narrative description, I am going to go ahead to our unit plan, and I am just going to copy that from here and paste it in. I'm going to choose this dual column layout because I use this left-hand column for unit information and then the right-hand column for readings and resources for students. I'm going to choose a cover photo. Perfect. And then I am going to save this. Now I have two. So I'm going to click on this little pencil tool in order to edit. And now I have all of these tools available to me. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in some text on the left-hand side to identify summer reading, Born a Crime unit plan. You can have access to the bolding and underlining tools by clicking on this triple dot. You can decide to make that a little bit larger. That's not what I meant to click on. There we go. I'm going to save that. And now the first thing I want available to students under the unit plan is the notes for the course. So I share class notes with students through class slides. So I'm going to go to my class slides and I'm going to go to File, Share, and Publish to the web. And I'm doing that because I want to embed them on the page. Now, all of these, except for the small one, are too large. The best size that I've figured for a dual column is 500 by 310. I'm going to copy this whole thing in order to paste it where the embed code goes. Now, something that Google Slides does automatically is include this in order to start it on a false loop, meaning each slide is going to progress forward as it wants to. I don't want it to do that, so I'm just deleting that one line out of here. This is where all my MySpace HTML skills really come into play. So I'm going to press save. So now when I take a look at this, I have this first slide. Well, that's not what it looks like. All ready to go. So now students can see the slides. The thing I also want them to have access to, I want them to be able to see the unit essential questions. Bold underline, and this is where, in my case, I'm going to go back to my unit plan and pull those in. This might be essential questions that are a part of a chapter or key ideas or vocabulary, but just important guiding information for students for the unit. And then I'm going to pull text again in order to say preview of unit summatives. I don't know why TowerNet doesn't like that word. So now this unit has two summatives. So I have an analytical paragraph, and there is a creative writing piece, personal memoir. So now on this planning side, I have the class notes with the slides, the essential questions, and the unit summative. I could also add in a unit calendar on this side. At this moment in the school year, before it's all started, I don't have that ready to go. Hopefully I will have something a little bit closer to share with students after meeting with my team. Now you can see on the left-hand side, it's all this unit kind of planning and organizing information so that students know the essential questions, they know what the summatives are. Not going to make that 5-minute deadline. Sorry about that. Now over here, I'm going to take the text tool again, although I'm going to scroll up so I can actually see it. And I'm going to say readings. Bolding and underlining that. And now I'm going to bring in links because I'm going to link to the documents that I have for my readings. So the first reading we're going to do, probably, is this one. I'm going to make sure my sharing settings are what I want them to be. They are. So I'm going to copy that link. And I'm copying in the title. And I get to cheat because I have already typed that in before. So I have the title of it. I have this. I could even add in a description, a little story summary if I wanted. So I can do that several more times. I'm just going to do it 2 times as a model. Again, checking to make sure it's the access that I want. And so now I've incorporated 2 of the readings. Now, I also have resources that I want students to have access to, but I want to give this a little bit of space to show that they are separate things. So I'm using the spacer tool and the horizontal line, and I'm going to use text again to add in resources. Now, obviously, readings are a resource, but what I mean by this is these are tools and materials that help students more meaningfully engage with the content of the class. So, for example, if I go to my resources, I have a prompt breakdown organizer. So I want students to learn how to break down a prompt. So I'm going to make sure they have access to this organizer as a resource for them, not only for this unit, but into the future. Just titling it there. And we'll do a second resource link as a model. So here I have a PDF with a checklist. I could always download this PDF, but I think making it available digitally as something that they can then save in their Google Drive makes more sense for how our students are keeping their information organized. So this is a checklist of literary elements. No. Literary techniques to build style. All right, so now when students look at this, it has a structure of unit plan information, including class notes, essential questions, and a preview of the summatives. Eventually, when it's the right moment, I can populate this with the information. They know where their readings are, the title of the reading and the author, as well as it's hyperlinked, and then the resources, kind of naming these other materials that are going to help them be successful with course content. Apologies for doubling the time there, just about, but this is the way that I structure a TowerNet page in order to keep it organized to hopefully support student success.